Hey beekeepers, this is Andrew with Mann Lake, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about our September edition of the Beekeepers Buzz. In our August edition, we checked for mites, we treated for mites, and then we fed them in preparation to get this hive ready for a fall honey flow. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to go back in, talk a little bit about what's happening in the hive right now, as well as take the mite treatment out that we had put in at the end of July. We're going to do a mite check so we can get an idea of how well the medication worked for us and what kind of condition our colony is in going forward. And then we're going to talk about a couple of things that we're going to start to look for in anticipation of a fall flow. So let's get started. Anytime that we're working the beehive, we want to make sure to try to not cause any unnecessary harm to the bees. Just want to work them like we've been in the hive before and get in, take care of what we need to do, and get back out. So we've got a honey super. Now keep in mind, we don't actually have honey in this. I'm calling it a honey super box that it is. This particular hive is a story and a half. And you can see here that we are already getting brood up into that honey super. And that's okay. We could also see here that without having to look too hard, we could see very fresh eggs over here. So I know that we're queen right off the bat. I don't need to go in and start ripping things apart looking for her. Now, I am going to take this super off and get into this bottom box. And this super is going to be used for honey once we remove our medication, let everything air out for about 2 weeks. This box will be used for honey. We will push all of the bees down from this box into our bottom brood box. We'll then put a queen excluder on top of it, and we'll just let the brood hatch out. It's fine, it'll be replaced with honey stores. But right now what we have is a box that's drawn out without honey in it, but ready to go for our honey flow. So if you have brood in your honey super and you're gonna plan on using that as a honey super, don't worry about it. That brood will hatch out. As long as you've got that queen below the excluder, there's no chance of that brood, her laying eggs back up in that spot. So we know we're pretty good here. We're gonna gently take this box and make sure that we're not crushing any bees. We are going to start to get into this hive. All right, let's get a look here. Just when we're working those frames and we're separating them, we just want to be gentle. Make sure we don't want to cause any damage that we don't need to. All right. So again, quickly, we can do a quick check and make sure that we're seeing fresh eggs in spots where brood has been hatching out. We have. That's good. We've got all stages of development in here. Now, right before we did this video, we took out the apivar. And now what we are going to do is check. Make sure we don't have our queen on the frame. And what we're going to end up doing is doing another mite check. It's important that we do our mite check before we do a treatment, and that we do a check after we do the treatment, because we need to have a basis. We need to know if what we put in, if it worked. And the only way we're going to know is if we're willing to go back in and do another check. Now, keep in mind, these frames are very stuck together. There we go. Just want to gently pull it out. We want to make sure that our queen is not on this frame. And she is not. now what we're going to do, just like we did in our previous video, we're going to gently comb some of the bees into our shaker cup. Now we know that we are going to kill some bees, and that is the reality of it when we are doing a mite check. But we can't look at our bees that way. We need to treat them like a singular organism. Last month I used the analogy of doing a biopsy, and my mentor years ago used that, and it stuck with me ever since. And that's how we have to look at this. Fortunately, we're gonna take out a couple of bees, but we're gonna get a completely accurate reading of the condition of our hive, which is going to allow us to have a more productive season. So we've got our bees in our cup. We're gonna gently put this frame back in. We're gonna close the cup up, step away from the hive, and we're gonna shake it. Last month we had about 5 mites total in this cup, which would have given us about 1.5 mites per 100 bees. Right now we're sitting with 1 mite total right there. This is pollen, that's skunk. We have 1 mite total. That means we are running less than half a mite per 100 bees right now. That's phenomenal. That's right where we want to be. That means that this hive has been fully treated. Like we discussed in the previous video, that apivar allows for multiple brood cycles. And so any mites that were hiding under the capped brood at the time when we did our previous edition, any of those bees and mites that hatched out at the same time came in contact with the Amitraz-based treatment and killed off those mites. Our beehive is in a very good position right now. It's healthy when we're queen right, and we know that we are set up very well for our fall flow. So there's really not much that we're gonna do in here right now. Again, we're queen right. We've got pollen, we've got nectar, we've got plenty of brood. We're gonna gently put this box back on. And now what's gonna happen here is that we're gonna kind of keep this hive idle for about 2 weeks or so before that honey starts coming in. If the apivar is not in your hive and you have it out, you've taken it out a couple weeks before any type of a flow, any honey that's accumulated in here is fine. Okay, that's why we made the decision to treat with the apivar when we did. And to recap from earlier in the video, we do have brood up here in this box, and that is fine because we have given our queen free reign between this box and that box. But next month, in the next couple of weeks, what we're going to do, we're going to push all of these bees down into this single. Any of this brood will hatch out. We're going to take our queen excluder and we're going to put it in between, and we're going to run this particular hive as a single for honey production. And we're going to follow this hive right through the fall, all the way through to California. So that's it for right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, click the like, click the subscribe, leave us some comments. If you have questions, we'll answer them for you. And thanks for watching this edition of the Beekeeper's Buzz.